Thank you, Dan. Welcome, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour. It's Monday. It's Monday, February the 3rd, 2020. 19 degrees outside. Typical start of February, Shane.
Well, we got 6 inches of rain from Friday till Sunday morning. So we had major flooding all over the lower mainland. It was a amazing with thunder and lightning, no less.
Wow. Well, we got your rain. Here is snow.
Well, it's supposed to snow all day today and tomorrow here. So There we go. More snow and rain for you coming.
Yeah, I figured that. So, well, the big news of the weekend, I got my snowblower out.
No, the big news of the weekend, you were right, Eagle Man. The mayor was dead on with the Super Bowl. Good call. Now explain everyone your secret of the red home team jersey.
Well, when I played sports, we had two uniforms. We had an away uniform and a home uniform.
Right.
And I always felt more confident and more comfortable in the home uniform and usually played better at home than away.
That's your secret?
That's the secret, man. That's it. It's a psychological secret.
I thought there was some major, so I looked it up.
Yeah.
So the 13 of the past 15 Super Bowls have been won by the team wearing white. Now, white represents home team, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, whoever has the best season record is the home team for the Super Bowl, which in this case was Kansas City, and they won. But that's amazing, 13 of the past 15 Super Bowls. Mm. But that means, 13 of the best team, the team with the best record won. And they were favored on Sunday by a point. So.
Yeah. So
terrific game. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I had to leave at halftime before the lame halftime show started, and had to get to bed.
I know. I was tied at halftime.
I know.
10-10.
Yeah. And
then in the third and fourth quarters, the 49ers scored another 10 points and went ahead 20-10. And then Mahomes came back, baby. He just wrapped them up. 4 touchdowns and
he may be the Tom Brady of the future.
That's what everyone's saying. The next 15 years will be these two teams, like the Green Bay Packers and the
Pittsburgh Steelers. And
no, New England and the Green Bay Packers.
Well,
and
Miami was in there too for a while.
No, but I'm saying in the last 10 years, it's been 3 teams: Green Bay, New England, and New Orleans, right?
Yeah. So pretty much, yeah. So.
Yeah, it's now a new shift.
Okay, if you say so.
New quarterbacks, new teams. Oh my gosh, the guy's got an incredible team, and 4 wide receivers, and another tight end the size of Gronkowski. I mean, it's a guy there. I can't think of his name. He's 6'5", 260 pounds. Oh my God,
Gronkowski. Yeah.
No, the guy for Kansas City. I can't think of his name. Witter.
Kittle.
No. Nickel. I can't think
Kittle?
of it. Kittle. No, isn't that the guy for 49ers? Kittle.
I don't care.
Okay. What a week. So, number one, no witnesses. So the president acquitted on Wednesday. State of the Union. And I want everyone to know this on tomorrow night is a State of the Union. It's not a throne speech. Okay. He is not a monarch.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl, of course. Iowa caucuses today. And Friday was Brexit Day. I mean, what a week for us to talk about. I mean, this is
Well, and we'll have a big week here on the show because Greg Gianforte will be in at 7:00 to talk to us. Jeff Krause will return tomorrow, and Wednesday we got the Kingston Trio, and then Mike McCormick's going to move to Friday because he's got something to do on Thursday. So we're going to have a full week here, Shane. So.
There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun deal. So Greg Gianforte will join us at 7:00. So get your questions ready for Greg if you want to text them to me.
I have 2.
Okay, 478-8298. So text them over to us and we'll or call and we'll get you on the air. Well, our weather today, 50% chance of snow, mainly before 9 a.m. So for your commute, you may be commuting in snow this morning. Cloudy, then gradually becoming more sunny, but only a high of 25 today. New snow accumulation, less than half an inch is possible. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 4 degrees and calm winds, thankfully. So Tuesday, mostly cloudy through mid-morning, then gradual clearing with a high near 26 degrees. And then on Tuesday night, a 30% chance of snow after midnight, mostly cloudy with a low around 13, and little or no snow accumulation. Little or no accumulation expected. So then on Wednesday, we're going to have 50% chance of snow again, and high near 32. New snow accumulation 1 to 3 inches are possible on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday night, snow likely, cloudy with a low around 29. Chance of precip 70%. New snow accumulation of 3 to 5 inches is possible for Wednesday night. Then Thursday, snow, cloudy with a high near 39. Thursday night, snow, cloudy with a low around 32. And Friday, snow likely, cloudy with a high near 42. Then on Friday night, chance of snow, mostly cloudy with a low around 27. Saturday, chance of snow, high near 40. Saturday night, chance of snow and a low around 21. And then on Sunday night, chance of snow and mostly cloudy with a high near 33. So I'm not sure, but there might be snow in the forecast.
I think you're right about that, Mayor. That's a good call.
I don't know,
it sounds like white jerseys.
Yeah, it's going to be a white jersey week. So, well, temperatures around the area. Livingston right now is 18 degrees. Manhattan is 20 degrees. Three Forks 22. Galton Gateway 13. Big Sky is 6 degrees. West Yellowstone 11. Gardner's 14 degrees. And Ennis is 17 at the moment. And at the airport in Belgrade, it's 19 degrees. We're right at 19 degrees here as well. So that's your forecast. For Montana Road Report, don't go anywhere. Stay in your house. It's yellow from east to west and north to south. So the only clear road we've got is from Three Forks up to Helena and on up to Great Falls. So if you're going that way, you can certainly get up there. But otherwise, if you're going anywhere from Billings to Butte or Phillipsburg or Missoula, forget about it. You're going to be going 20 miles an hour, and you're going to be avoiding wrecks all the way because it's not good. Homestake Pass, not good. Bozeman Hill, not good. High winds all over the place, a lot of blowing, drifting snow, and wow, ouch.
Ouch indeed.
It is not good out there. So, let's see, from our text line, would have voted on your poll, but you didn't have who cares.
That's right. Who cares?
Yeah, right. Well, our poll question of the day is let me get over to it. Gotta go that way. Yeah. Well, our poll question from Friday: have you kept your New Year's resolution? 64% say I don't even bother making them, and 24% say yeah, they're still on track, and 8% are you kidding? No way, and 4% said there's a new year. I had no idea. And today, our poll question of the day: who will win the Democrat race tonight, or today, I guess I should say? And right now, 71% of you think Bernie is going to take it home. 14% like Mayor Pete. 14% like Andrew Yang. So that's early voting right now. So
okay, but remember, this is a caucus, so there's a total of 49 delegates, of which only 41 are pledged delegates allocated on the basis of the caucuses.
Right. Yeah.
So that leaves 8 delegates for the DNC. Of course, here we go. Super delegates.
Right. Yeah.
And that's because what is it in Iowa? They have 3 congressmen, and so 6 other DNC members that are picked by the DNC get to be a member of the group of people that have a vote in, for the convention. So anyway, the 41, whoever gets the most of those 41 pledged delegates, they'll call the winner. That's how they'll determine it. But I think that, people think it might be Yang. Most people think it might be Bernie. But what we all want to know is how many did Joe Biden end up with? Because that's the key, right? Because
that would be the key as to whether how much he carries that into New Hampshire and
then Nevada.
Yeah. So. All right, as we report daily, debt per citizen of the United States, 23.2 trillion debt, and debt per citizen is $70,623. The assets per citizen is $443,330. So,
wow,
there you are. The let's see, in Argentina, the what is it? The inflation rate. I forgot what it was for a minute. The inflation rate in Venezuela is coming down. It's 39,113.80%. So for every dollar, for whatever a dollar used to pay, you're going to have to pay 39,133 to have the same buying power of the dollar that you used to. They used to spend. So
that's right, and we talked about this 6 months ago when their market tanked.
That's right,
and we talked about the fact that there's a semi-socialist country, and they're heading the way of the socialist doo-doo bird, which they did. So another gold star for us because we did call that.
There you go. Gold's at 15.89, crude oil's at 51.58, 10-year treasuries at 151, and inflation is 2.29%. So
not bad.
And our rebroadcasts of our shows, we passed 3,100. We're at 3,111. So is 4,000 far behind? Not really. We're averaging around 500 a month, so we should.
And how many shows?
321 shows. So we're almost at 10 downloads per show.
How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. So we're happy about that. So yeah.
Someone's listening.
Someone is listening to us. Thank the Lord God above. That's so good. Yeah. KC won and they wore red. Yep, that's right. That's what I said would happen. So, keep that in mind. So
the Eagle Man, he's now a Super Bowl prognosticator.
Yes, I am. All right, we got to take a quick break here because we got to take care of the farmers, ranchers, cab drivers, truck drivers, anybody that brings you booze, food, or clothing, and some other kind words. So stay tuned. 25 minutes after the hour, it's on Monday, February 3rd, 2020, 19 degrees outside. And Shane, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that a woman who's lost 83 pounds, I'm not sure the appropriate response is holy cow.
In the woke society?
I'm not sure that's what you want to say.
Exactly.
Holy moly, baby. Holy mackerel. Holy all.
Well done. Just a well done.
Yeah, that's right. Well done for you. Yeah, not holy cow. But well, guess what, Shane? In 1809, the territory of Illinois was created. My home state, birthplace.
Great state. The home of 4 presidents: Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, Ronald Reagan, and of course Barack Obama.
Of course.
They have two. Well,
he wasn't born there. He wasn't born there. But
yeah, he was.
Not in Illinois. He was born in Hawaii. Barack Obama was born in Hawaii.
No, but he claimed, but he grew up in Chicago, so he gets credit.
Okay. Yes. All right.
That's where he lives. All right. And they have their senators: Dick Durbin, Democrat; Tammy Duckworth, Democrat. The Republicans are after that seat. Mm-hmm. They have 13 congressmen that are Democrat and 5 Republicans. Ranking area is 25th, and 17th in income rank, and the population is 12.5 million. The rank there is 6th. They have a pretty staggering economy. They basically were the center of production for World War I and World War II, and their estimated GDP is about 880 billion, which is around $70,000 per citizen. Not bad.
Yeah, most of them are in Chicago.
That's right.
All of them are in Chicago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I don't want any phone calls on this. 1913, the 16th Amendment to the Constitution providing for a federal income tax was ratified. I don't care if it was ratified or not. I don't care the vote's public. I don't care. Everybody who's challenged it, who went to court, has lost. So I don't want any phone calls on the income tax.
That's right.
Or the 16th Amendment.
That's right. Up until that time, your federal government raised money with tariffs and excise taxes on various goods. Then the Revenue Act of 1861, before the Civil War, they introduced the first federal income tax, and but that was repealed in 1872. And during then the Populist Party came in, and then it went to the Supreme Court and lost. Yep. So they had to pass in 1894 the Wilson-Gorman Tax or Tariff Act, lost in the Supreme Court, saying you can't tax people's income. So they had to pass the 16th Amendment, and here's what it says for all of those that are awake this morning. Where am I? 16. Oh, my goodness. The 16th Amendment. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on income from whatever source derived without appointment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. Yeah. And was the 16th Amendment was proposed on July 12th, 1909, during the Wilson administration, I might add, and ratified on February 3rd, 1913 by, you know what it is, 20. I don't know how many states there were then. But it had to be 2/3 of the states, right?
Yeah. So they voted on it. The results are public record, so I don't want to hear it. So
yeah, but we have to talk about it. So
we have to talk about it. Yeah. So.
Now people call in and complain about it, Tom. We have all the context for it.
That's right.
And we can listen. We can listen to their complaints.
All right. Let's see. We got Montana State News, got Fox News, got Brooke Foster weather, and some other things. So by all means, hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more right after the news at the bottom of the hour. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill, as Dave Wooten so illustriously told us earlier. Coming up at 7 o'clock hour, Greg Gianforte will join us, so have your questions ready for Greg. If you want to text them to me, that's fine, or give us a call at 522-TALK, 522-8255. We had several texts about Obama. Shane. He actually went to Chicago in 1985, and so he was born in Hawaii, was raised in Indonesia, and then came back to America. So
yeah, well, he was a senator, and then ran for president and won. So that under the guidelines, he came from Illinois as a president.
That's true. Yeah, he was an Illinois president. That's true.
Senator, U.S. Senator.
Yeah, well, he was a senator, yeah. And then he was a president in Illinois.
So that qualifies him coming from Illinois as governor, president.
As president, yeah. 1917, the U.S. broke off diplomatic relations with Germany, which had announced a policy of unrestricted submarine warfare. Didn't we report that the other day?
Yeah, we did.
Thought for a minute I was on the wrong date, so no need to hash that out again. 1924, Woodrow Wilson, our favorite socialist, 28th President of the United States, died in Washington, D.C. at the age of 67.
Yes, right. 1921 he died, March 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what can you say about him? I mean, the League of Nations, Wilsonism, which now is, progressivism in the United States.
Yeah.
And he came from Princeton University, another well-educated person. Governor of New Jersey, 34th. And, he won the 1912 National Convention and and he defeated President William Howard Taft in the Progressive Party, and Theodore Roosevelt, the Moose Party.
Yeah.
Split that vote, so that's why he got in.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, in 1959, the day the music died, rock and roll stars Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P. The Big Bopper Richardson died in a plane crash near Clear Lake, Iowa on this date back in 1959.
It was a horrific issue with that. The crash was just overwhelming to people. But this was the beginning of the big age of radio, as you know.
Yeah.
And it was the big age of money for the music industry, because radio agreed to pay anyone who wrote a song 3 cents for every time they played their song.
Played it on the radio, yeah.
So the royalties rolled in, and musicians in the United States became very wealthy because of it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do the same thing on the internet. Should have, could have, but didn't.
Yeah.
Because they didn't think the internet would hurt them. Well, it did, and now the only money they get is the 3 cents from radio.
Yeah. Not much anyway, unless you got your own record company.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to do like the Eagles did. Get your own record company, have your own booking agency, and do the whole 9 yards yourself. So
that's right.
All right, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, it's little Daniel Peterson saying the little things before you guys get into saving the world because I am impressed with Gianforte. He's a giant of hard work. That's something I'll vote for him at least secondarily or third, because other people just parrot things, but he's going to have answers. But here's this evil weed that is stuck up. A couple people have said that I've called the illustrious Tom Eaglehoff a suicidal person. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
Well, here's the context, and see if you remember that.
I remember the context. Yeah, I remember it.
Well, yeah, then you see something floating around that's an ad hominem attack, an attack to the human. I learned in 8th grade debate this mudslinging is a very poor way to get your point across. Well, let me tell everybody this, that one of Tom's favorite sayings is, I didn't come to change Montana. I came to let Montana change me. So I used satire, which is somewhat sophisticated humor, to say, well, Montana is the most suicidal state and one of the heaviest drinking states. So Tom must have turned into a real suicidal drunk. That's humor. I can't understand how people got offended on that.
Well, it's very simple, Daniel. People get offended at almost anything politicians say. People say if they don't agree with you, they will find a way to embellish your statement, to make it deflect from the victim or the person the comment is directed to, and throw it back on the person making the comment. So it's pretty simple. It's psychology.
Yeah, another simple humorous slapstick, slipping on a banana, or these YouTubes where people are walking along and they walk into a wall or something, and people think that's funny. That is an odd, more primitive humor.
Yeah.
But there is a book out called Modest Proposal that a couple hundred years ago, I think it's Swift said, well, we better eat our children so we can feed the hungry. Then this woman more recently said, we better eat our children to stop population growth. And that caused a fervor. I suppose that she was a setup.
She was, she was.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying.
Because I love the Eagle, man. I'll give you some kindly advice, Daniel. I don't think you should be sarcastic for someone who holds your back with everyone else and stands up for you with everyone else as he does for anyone that calls in. So I don't think sarcasm is a fair way to refer to the Eagle Man, the mayor of the great, morning soapbox.
I apologize, sir.
All right, no problem. Hey, I'm not offended at all. But I got to go because I got a commercial
Okay,
there. So,
yeah,
all right.
thanks.
All right. And just for the record, I drink sparingly, and I've only committed suicide twice. So
and you look pretty good.
I look pretty good for it. Yeah, all right. We'll be right back right after this. 15 minutes for the top of the hour from our text line, 478-8298. Yeah, and my brother-in-law says he's from California, even though he never went there until college, and he grew up in New York. He is from New York. And please cut that mudslinger off, okay? All right. Well, getting back to this day in history, Apollo 14 astronauts Alan Shepard, Edward Mitchell landed on the lunar surface during the third successful manned mission to the moon.
Yeah, we covered it last week when they launched, and they were successful in bringing back the most rocks from the moon. So I want to talk about the next one, which is great. 1988, and the U.S. House of Representatives. I'll let you read it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, in 1988, the U.S. House of Representatives rejected President Ronald Reagan's request for more than $36 million in aid to the Nicaraguan Contras. And
now,
the rest is history.
Important.
The rest is history.
But it's important because of what's going on with Congress and what they're doing with your president. So, as we all know, they had investigations in the House, in the Judicial Committee, and they considered articles of impeachment because, that great colonel stood up for him and said he did it all. But here's the key. This is the key. The key was Ronald Reagan went on television and said, I didn't approve this. I didn't support it. But when I found out about it, I stopped it. And the buck stops here, and I'm responsible for it, and I apologize to the American people. Now, that's what American people love.
Yeah.
So in the case we're dealing with now with your president, he felt that the way to deal with this issue with Ukraine, phone call, as he released the text. And he thought that would clarify the whole thing. But, of course, no, it didn't. And now, the vote went down, as we all know last week, 51-49. And Wednesday, two votes will acquit him. So it's relevant to history, isn't it?
I would say so.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. In 1994, the Space Shuttle Discovery blasted off with a woman, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Eileen Collins, in the pilot's seat for the first time. Wow. A woman driver.
Isn't it great? It's just incredible. I mean, what a piece of equipment. Not just that they were able to build it, but how many missions they ran into space, and they built the space station, expanded it, and provided for it. The United States in space has always been a remarkable accomplishment, but what we've learned that particularly during the Obama years when he slashed NASA's budget was he had a meeting in the White House, and he said, "What's the issue with space? And tell me why we're not doing more." And they said, "Well, we really can't live up there." He goes, "Oh, really? So what about long trips?" Well, it won't really work well on human beings.
Yeah,
because we're adjusted to a specific air pressure and all the things, gravity, all these things that make us survive on the planet that don't exist in thank you, in space. So that, folks, is the one thing they're trying to overcome. And then, as we know, they launched the twins, and they were both up there. Or one twin was up there for a year, came back, and his DNA changed. So they're no longer identical twins.
Yeah,
so,
their DNA is now different. So,
so there you go.
That's interesting how your DNA is pretty much the blueprint of who you are. And
100%.
Yeah. And so it's kind of curious that could change in a year just by exposure to a different environment.
Yeah, it's going to all be robotics because, you can't go to Mars and live on Mars without knowing, like, over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years the DNA would change greatly, and anybody born there could never come back to Earth, of course.
Yeah, they'd have big eyes, and
yeah, exactly.
be green, and right.
They might actually become aliens.
That's it. That's right. Well, that's the obvious thing. So, evolution on Mars. Let's take a phone call, and we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
It's hard to believe sometimes the hypocrisies of the Democrat senators, but I got to remember they're Democrats. So we want a fair and impartial trial. We want the truth to come out. But when we start this in the House, we're going to have closed private meetings that don't even let the Republicans in. We want a fair process, but when we call witnesses in the House, they're going to be the witnesses we want. Republicans can't call any of the witnesses they think are pertinent to the case.
Or cross-examine the ones that are there.
Yes, exactly. The closed private meetings. But we want a fair trial. We want a fair process. We want the truth to come out. So when it goes to the Senate, we Democrat senators sitting as jury in this trial, well, we know the president did it, but we want a fair trial. Well, excuse me, in any court of law, if you already have predetermined in your mind that a defendant is guilty, you wouldn't be sitting in a jury box. You'd be thrown out as a potential juror. Oh, but we want a fair process. Oh, give me a freaking break. We want witnesses, but we're going to block the witnesses you want. You can't have the Bidens or any other witnesses you want, but we want a fair process. Oh, yeah, right. Give me a break. Any Americans who are watching this, if they don't realize this is a witch hunt that started from the day he was probably nominated as a Republican nominee, well, maybe not back then because the Democrats probably never thought he would. They never thought he could.
He would ever be elected. No way.
Yeah. So when he did get elected, that's when this impeachment thought started in the minds of the Democrats.
Yeah. Well, they felt shortchanged, that there's no way this guy could win. It had to be some excuse. Had to be the Russians, had to be the Martians, had to be Tom and Shane, had to be somebody that made this happen. Come on. We got to blame someone. And
however it happened, we got to get rid of this guy.
That's right. I mean, come on. This was an illegitimate election, and the American people want us to get this guy out, even though they voted for him overwhelmingly. But we want to get him out. We got to get him gone.
It's so disgusting.
No, thanks for the call.
All
right. Appreciate it. All right. We got to take another short break. We'll be right back right after this. Stay tuned. 5 minutes before the top of the hour, and Shane Tobin, half man, half amazing on the line. Tom Eagle off your morning mayor. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox, brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill. Hey, check out the Club Tavern Grill. They're located in the Best Western Grand Tree on North 7th, across from Walmart. It's where the locals go, and tell them Tom and Shane sent you in. Well, in 1998 on this date, Texas executed Carla Faye Tucker for the pickaxe killing of 2 people in 1983. Pickaxe killing. Wow, that's a tough way to go.
Well, at least she didn't use her pit bull, right?
Yeah, right. Jeez. In 2006, on this date, an Egyptian passenger ferry sank in the Red Sea during bad weather, killing more than 1,000 passengers. Wow.
Yeah, it was crossing the Red Sea on its en route to Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, and it was overloaded. And pilgrims were on board, going to the Hajj in Mecca, and was carrying 220 vehicles, more than it should be. And 388 people were rescued, but it just was an old ship that shouldn't have been still in the water and just overloaded. And it's just one of those things that people take advantage of. They just you've seen the pictures of Indian people on the trains there, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
On the roof, hanging out the sides.
I know, yeah. What a surprise, huh?
Well, plus, in the Muslim religion, you are required under the Quran to make one journey to Mecca for the Hajj. You're in your lifetime.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right. Let's see, from our text line, 478-8298, Republicans complained about no witnesses in the House because they blocked them, yet didn't want them in the Senate. Give me a break. Why didn't they want them in the Senate? Well, they had 17, actually they had 18 House witnesses.
Right, but 17 testified that they brought, up all the evidence.
Mhm.
Interesting one was the 18th, and that was the investigative general of that department looking at the whistleblower.
Yeah.
So one question that I said they should have asked is, we want that IG report, redact the name of the whistleblower. We don't need to know who he is, but we want to know what the IG learned about him and what his involvement was.
Mhm.
So, redact, anybody's name. Just redact everyone's name, but give us the report to look, and they never did.
Yeah.
And that would have changed the whole issue. They would never have been able to impeach him, because we know that the background of the whistleblower was with the Biden. I mean, we know who it is, number one, so we know what he did. And he worked for Biden. He worked with Biden in the Ukraine. I mean, it's hogwash.
Well, the other thing, too, is that Republicans were not allowed to cross-examine any of these witnesses.
Yeah.
So that was the other.
Imagine.
That was the other thing that was a little rough. And also, as far as I know, when you are in a court of law, the jury doesn't call witnesses, as far as I know. Anyway,
certainly not witnesses that they haven't cross-examined or done, investigations of before the trial. Because as Law 101, don't ask a witness a question you don't know the answer to.
You already know the answer to. Exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why discoveries exist.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I believe is that I believe every senator who put their hand up and swore an oath to be an unbiased, impartial juror just committed perjury of the highest order. I think they should all be impeached for.
That's right.
Because I don't think anybody in there says I'm going to be an honest, impartial juror. This is done. I'm voting the party line. See you later.
Well, and the other thing too, and this is really important. One of the big reasons about them not taking any of this to court was because of privilege, right? So if the president doesn't have privilege, with regards to people that work for him, then why would congressmen, senators, and House of Representatives have privilege to say whatever they want in the Senate or the House on the grounds of the Capitol?
Yeah.
Because they shift, what he did when he did that parody, during his hearings,
Yeah.
If he didn't have privilege or protection to say what he want, he could have been impeached himself,
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, privilege works both ways in your government.
Yeah. Well, since Trump was innocent, why wouldn't you call witnesses to exonerate him? Well, they tried.
But that was their job. And remember, they came.
Well, the House tried anyway.
2 weeks before they came, they said, absolute, guaranteed, done. We have all the proof we need. We don't need any more.
There you are. That's what they said. So, all right, Greg Gianforte is going to be in the house coming up. So we'll be right back right after these important words. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Monday, February 3rd, 2020. 18 degrees outside. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing on the line. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. And Greg Gianforte, the congressman from Montana, joins us. And Shane, I know you got a couple questions for the congressman, so go for it.
Yes, Congressman Gianforte, I'm so excited. We have 3 policy solutions for you to take the president. Big solutions for the government of the United States. Number 1, student debt, $1.6 trillion. Here's our solution. It's all owed to the U.S. government. So you cancel interest payments on all of it. Go to the OMB, set up a series of benefits that people can get. If you make a 1% annual fee payment on your debt a year after 5 years, the government will co-sign a loan for you to buy a home, because you got to get the 18 to 35-year-olds back in the game. They got to get a home. People that make more than $100,000 a year, if they make 10% payments on their debt, then over 10 years, you give them a percentage that the government will cancel. And, another one is that anyone that makes annual payments to the principal debt, because there's no interest, get a different kind of, you can create all kinds of bonuses, steal this right out of the hands of the demolition party, and they'll go nuts over it. Number 2, your national debt can be solved with Social Security. How? You take 10% of the monthly receipts from Social Security, put it in the market, and buy cash dividend stocks. I've run the numbers, get OMB to run the numbers. In 5 years, just from 10%, Social Security will be flush forever. Then you move to 10%, and the 5% that you get additional, you take, and the money that you generate from those dividend cash-paying stocks, you'd pay down the national debt. Bam! Social Security saved, the national debt being paid, and student loan problem over. And the Democrats don't have, or the demolition party doesn't have anything to do with it.
He's not just a pretty face.
Hey, Shane, I don't even get a good morning.
Good morning. I said good morning, Congressman. I'm all excited to tell you this.
I know. I can tell you. Back the dump truck up.
I know he's.
Well, but yeah, I know you can get to the president. Oh, and tell him to call him the demolition party, will you? Just once. Just once.
I'm writing that down right now.
Well, Greg Gianforte is in the house, and
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and well, the obvious thing we've got to start with, I guess, is the impeachment. Closing arguments today for 4 hours, and then a vote on Wednesday. They couldn't. They had to postpone the vote till after the State of the Union. Of course, they can't have Trump stand up there and say declare another win. So,
well, I'm proud of the Senate for saying no witnesses, because we don't need to drag this political theater out.
Well, they had
anymore.
17. The House could have called all the witnesses they wanted.
I would have hoped they had finished it last Friday.
Yeah,
and it would have given us all a better weekend.
Yeah, I would agree with the Super Bowl and everything going on. So that would be a
but we'll be. I mean, it's been political theater since day one.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi last spring said if it wasn't impeachment is so divisive, if we don't have overwhelming, compelling, and bipartisan support, we shouldn't pursue it.
Yeah.
This was completely a partisan deal, and it's good to have it come to an end.
Schiff and Nadler just kind of pushed her out of the way, and that's weird because she's pretty powerful in the House, as you know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So Senate's going to vote. It's going to be all done.
Congressman, I told Tom at the beginning of the show, being a Canadian, that your president tomorrow night should say to everybody, this is the State of the Union address. It's not a throne speech.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Queen makes a throne speech in Parliament every year to open
and
it,
I
right?
think, we saw his ad during the Super Bowl yesterday about prison reform.
Yeah.
And this president is changing people's lives. With the tax bill, putting more money in people's pockets. We've got the strongest economy we've seen in a long time, lowest unemployment in 50 years. Wages are going up. People are serving appropriate sentences, but not locked up forever. We have these trade deals. I was at the White House last week for this USMCA, and we're happy you're going to start paying us a fair price for our grain up there in Canada.
Yeah. And you guys can sell us eggs and dairy. You're going to save Canadians $4,000 a year. Thank you, Congressman.
You're welcome.
Huge.
Yeah, it's going to create almost 200,000 American jobs. The president got a deal done with China, which is huge, $200 billion. He was at the White House. He talked about this last week. And this is actually, he is so funny sometimes. Because the most we had ever shipped to China, now these are President Trump's words. He says the most we've ever shipped to China is like $12 billion a year in ag products. So Lighthizer comes back and he says, how much did you get? He says, sir, they're going to buy $20 billion a year in ag products. And the president thinks about it. Make it 50.
Yeah.
And it is. It's $50 billion. And they said, sir, the farmers, they can't produce that much. He says, I believe in American farmers. They can produce whatever we can sell.
Buy bigger tractors and
exactly.
Bigger combines and go for it. Yeah.
That's the sort of business thinking we have in the White House and he has infinite confidence in American farmers, American workers, and finally, the average guy has a voice in the White House who's fighting for him. Yeah. I'm proud to be working with him.
Yeah. Well, they signed Japan too.
Yes.
South Korea.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that's missed on this USMCA is that, and I was speaking with Ambassador Lighthizer, it was early in January when he came in to visit with some of the members of Congress. And he said, Europe, now England separately, Britain, and other Asian countries have been watching this USMCA because they're thinking in their own minds, if these knuckleheads in Congress can't do a deal with their nearest neighbors who are their largest trading partners, how are they ever going to do one with us? And he said, as we move towards closure on USMCA, and then the president signed it last week, his phone's been ringing off the hook from Britain, the EU, other Asian countries who are saying, me too, I want a trade deal.
Sure.
And I'm happy to follow the model. So finally, we're going to have deals that are much more fair and reciprocal. And it's going to be a huge boon to our economy and American workers.
Yeah. Well, this Brexit thing, as Shane has pointed out, the Commonwealth of Britain is 32 entities, or 53, I guess. Yeah.
Backdoor to 53 countries, including India. What a treaty that'll be. Woohoo!
Yeah. So we get that signed. That would be the next one, I think. And that will do exactly what you're talking about. If there's a trade with, and Boris likes Donald, they're pals. And I don't think there's any problem signing anything there.
Hey, Tom, are you sick of winning yet?
I don't know, man. It's hard to do. Let's see.
Gotta like those Chiefs.
Yeah. Let's see from our text line. Greg voted against the huge budget, but his support of Trump lies make me support the doc, Dr. Olszewski. So
each person gets to make their decision. I think that I'm proud to be working with this president. Somebody made an observation recently. I think it's true. There are people that take the president literally, but they don't take him seriously.
Right. Yeah.
And he says outrageous things, and it's not the way I would say things or the way I would tweet. But I don't always take him literally, but I do take him seriously because I look at his actions and what he's done for the American people. And I'm proud to stand with him.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've said here. I don't think there's any question he embellishes the truth almost daily. But, when you look at the results of where we are unemployment in almost every sector you can name, and, we've got a lot of debt.
Any metric you look at.
The debt, so.
It was, he had glimmers of humility last week at the White House, which I was, it was nice to see. He gave a lot of credit to a lot of people because it took this is staggering. But he said on this USMCA deal, there were 1,000 negotiators working on it.
Oh yeah. Well, I believe it. I mean, you're talking about
wickedly complex.
You're talking about two major powers trying to get together on what we're going to do here, and particularly when one of those powers has to save face with their people, or I don't know that they have to, but save face in their own mind.
Yeah,
I think so. That's kind of where we are there. Let's take a quick break. We come back. We got to talk more about China. We've got to talk about some of the other things on your list here. So
sure.
Yeah, if you got any questions.
And callers, we'd love to hear from you.
478-8298 or give us a call at 522-TALK. We'll be back with Greg Gianforte right after this. 17 minutes after the hour, it's a Monday, February 3rd, 2020. Greg Gianforte, U.S. Congressman from Montana, joins us in studio. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing on the line. Tom Eagle, your morning mayor in the house. And, we got to talk about telehealth. What is telehealth, anyway?
Well, this is an opportunity. I'm on the healthcare subcommittee, and the three priorities for healthcare that I've gotten from folks as I visit around is, A, we got to get costs down. We've got to preserve rural access, and we have to protect people with pre-existing conditions. Telehealth helps with the first two of those. And essentially, what it allows is people in remote areas to get access to specialists via like Facebook Live or some, to interact like that. Now, it's not right for every visit, but in many parts, it's not about when you can see a doctor. It's if there's a doctor available at all. And if you need a skin specialist or a pediatric ortho person, they're not going to be in every community. So telehealth is a new way of delivering care. And in the government's infinite wisdom, we currently have 10 different agencies setting standards. So there's one for veterans. There's another one for mental health. There's another one for emergency services. So I've been working about a year with the Democrat chair of the Healthcare Committee on a major piece of policy legislation. We're going to drop that in the House this week. I'm optimistic it'll remove a lot of the friction to allow us to get more care into our rural communities. It's going to be a big win for Montana.
Yeah, particularly because we're rural.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Actually, it's not even, in the federal government's eyes, it's rural 100,000 people and below. So Billings is rural, according to the federal government. We don't have rural medicine. We have frontier medicine. And what this telehealth policy will do is create one standard for telehealth from the federal government perspective, so that when people want to bill under Medicare or Medicaid, they have one set of charge codes. So we don't have 6 different standards for this stuff. So it's going to streamline it, make it more efficient. The net result is going to be better access to care at a lower cost, particularly in our rural communities.
Good. All right. Well, let's shift gears. What's G.E.A.R?
Oh, yes. Another big thing this week. G.E.A.R stands for Government Efficiency, Accountability, and Reform.
Wow.
Yeah, we could use a little of that.
That's an oxymoron.
I know it is, but I'm the chair of the G.E.A.R task force. We've been working with other members of Congress for the last year. We're going to drop that report this week as well. We had we pulled together 100 common sense ideas to rebalance the power back to the original Constitution, to return the Article I powers to the legislature, rein in the administrative state. Secondly, we found all kinds of wasteful programs. Now, I was telling you this off the air, Tom. Yeah. Do you know the federal government, you as a taxpayer, pay to drop mice out of airplanes with little parachutes on them in Guam?
Ooh.
Millions of dollars.
I'm glad they have parachutes.
Yeah. Shane, we may need to send you down there to do an inspection tour.
Yeah, I've never gotten parachuted. I'll parachute with a bunch of white mice. Talk to them all the way down.
They take these little mice and they inject them with drugs, and they put parachutes on them, and they drop them out of airplanes, and the parachutes hang up in the trees, and then the invasive brown tree snakes eat the mice, and then the snake dies. We're spending tens of millions of dollars on this.
Wow.
My favorite is, how about we stop paying dead people?
Yeah.
Last year, we sent federal government benefit checks, Social Security checks and other checks, to 6.9 million Americans who are over the age of 112.
All right.
So either we have to find out what they're eating.
Yeah.
Or drinking, or we should take them off the rolls.
That's right.
Right?
Hopefully not any white mice falling out of the sky.
Yeah.
So we found some ridiculous programs. We're going to highlight them in this report. And then finally, bring some private sector employment rules to civil service. We have good federal workers, but we need to hold them accountable and make sure they're compensated properly. Things like performance pay, performance reviews, normal stuff you do in any business. But the government doesn't do it. No. So that's what the G.E.A.R report is. It's going to come out this week. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. Did you ever follow up on Shane's lead about the BlackBerry access to Hillary Clinton's missing emails? Apparently, Canada has the code to get into Hillary's BlackBerry. And so...
I think Shane, I need to get you on staff.
Yeah.
You've got some of the most interesting policy proposals.
May 15th, 2015. So you could have found all of her emails. Oh, and they were probably listening. Can I make another suggestion to you to mention to the president?
Okay.
You know how important it is for him to work with the African-American vote in this election. And Tom and I have taken a personal position on abortion. And I think he needs to mention that since Roe versus Wade, 18.5 million Black African-American babies have been aborted, which has resulted in them becoming the second largest minority in the country. And as Tom likes to say, you're more likely to die from an abortion in New York than being shot.
Being born, actually.
Yeah, and we've seen how far the left has gone on this, even to the point last year advocating and continuing to advocate for not providing medical care to a child that's born through a botched abortion. But
I just think it would be good to mention about the demolition party, and that 18.5 million African-American babies have been aborted since 1973. I think that's really a positive.
I'm proud of our president. 2 weeks ago, he was the first sitting president to ever attend the March for Life in Washington, and to stand side by side with the people that are fighting for the most vulnerable in our society. This week, I'll be with the president on Thursday morning at the National Prayer Breakfast. He comes every year, and he gave last year from the podium in front of thousands of people, he gave one of the most articulate defenses for life that I've ever heard. He did a great job. Yeah. And this is the side of the president that doesn't always get represented in the media.
From our text line, Greg, the tax cut added $2 trillion to debt. Isn't that immoral to strap our kids with debt? Why did Trump sign an executive order that raised Montana health premiums 20%? Where is the big, beautiful health care plan Trump promised? He raised our premiums. I'm bored of winning. Aren't Trump farm bailout socialism? So that covers a little bit of everything.
There's a lot in there.
That's a lot in there.
And I would say there is a very strong proposal for getting costs down, improving access, and protecting people with pre-existing conditions. Unfortunately, and if you want to see what that is, the RSC, the Republican Study Committee, published that report in October. It outlines it's a comprehensive plan that increases supply, expands on HSAs, gets drug prices down. I had a bill that passed the House in December that would require pharma to publish their prices, so hospitals. And I'm proud to report, Tom, that bill passed the House with 400 votes. It was completely bipartisan. But the whole plan is the Republican Study Committee healthcare plan. The president has signed on to it. He's been very supportive. So we do have a plan. What we can't go to is Medicare for all, which would bankrupt this country and end Medicare as we know it, cost trillions of dollars. Washington, has a spending problem. I'll be the first one. I agree with the caller on that. That's why I voted against the vast majority of the appropriations bills. The ones I have voted for have been the military defense ones because I think that's the core responsibility of the government. Right. And I get it. I had a town hall last week, and we took a poll. The number one issue is federal spending. But these drunken sailors back there, I just don't know how we rein them in.
Yeah.
Except that I support a balanced budget amendment, just like our state. I'll continue to support that. We just don't have enough votes in the House and the Senate to pass it.
Yeah. From a state perspective, from our text line, what are Greg's plans to lower our property taxes?
I'm glad the caller asked because it's a very straightforward plan. State spending, the good news is we do have a balanced budget, and state revenue from taxes goes up every year. Unfortunately, the 16 years of Democrat governors we've have spent it every year. So government just keeps getting bigger. In the first legislative session here at the state, what I would do, I would hold the line on new spending, just hold it flat. That doesn't mean cuts. It just means don't expand it. You would get a surplus. I would use all of that surplus to buy down property taxes, income taxes, and equipment taxes. When you do property tax, you got to do a backfill for the local communities. But I was just with the legislators over the weekend. We had more than 40 legislators together. I'm excited about working with them to lower property taxes, lower income taxes, because when we let people keep the fruits of their labor, they know how to spend it better than the government does.
Yeah. The other, some other things that are obviously going on. We got the virus, the coronavirus, and I've stopped drinking Corona for the moment. But
well, no, that inoculates you, Tom.
That and cigars. Yeah.
Very, very serious issue.
Yeah, it is.
And we have to. I mean, honestly, it's a global crisis, and we ought to muster all the resources we have here in this country to help China and all the other countries that are facing this issue. I heard on the news on Friday that we've had the first confirmed human-to-human transfer here in the U.S. Of the coronavirus.
Right,
so it's not China's problem anymore. It's a global problem.
Yeah. Well, this morning they were talking about all the countries where they have cases reported. And, as Shane has pointed out many times, the number of people who die in the U.S. from flu is pretty dramatic. In this.
Yeah, over 15 million people of the flu this year for, this season. And 3,400 people have died from it. So, it's... Yeah. But this is concerned because there's no cure for it. It'll take 6 months to a year for it to get...
Before we get it.
And I would say, modern medicine is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
As amazing as Shane.
Almost.
And we're getting cures for these things. We're only left with the really hard ones.
Yeah. That's true. We're running out of time. Do you want to hang around, or you got to go?
I have to hit the road.
Yeah,
so,
I thought you probably did.
It's been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you being in,
and I appreciate all the texters and things. And reach out whenever we can help.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Congressman Greg Gianforte, U.S. Congressman from Montana. Thanks for being here, Shane. We'll continue on.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, good to be with you, Shane. Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for this segment. We'll be right back after the news at the bottom of the hour, so stay tuned. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Monday, February 3rd, 2020, 19 degrees outside. The KMMS Morning Soapbox, brought to you by the Club Tavern and Grill. They were voted Bozeman's Choice Best Happy Hour. The Club Tavern and Grill offers happy hour specials every day of the week and is one of Bozeman's most popular happy hour spots and sports drinks. You'll be sure to find something you'll love from their extensive drink and food menu. They also serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They got a kid-friendly menu as well. So to place an order for pickup or to make a reservation for parties of 6 or more, go online to theclubtavernandgrill.com, theclubtavernandgrill.com. They're located in the Best Western Grand Tree on North 7th across from Walmart. It's where the locals go. Tell them Tom and Shane sent you in, right, Shane?
That's right.
That's right.
And they will give you 2 cocktail napkins to enjoy your drink and watch any sports you want on 21 televisions.
Wow. From our text line, 478-8298. Wow, that answered my question. Obviously, Greg dodged the question about the Hillary emails because he didn't want to follow through like he said he would. I don't remember him saying he was going to follow through, but maybe he did. That's not what he promised. Maybe he doesn't really care about our concerns. You definitely lost my vote. Even though Greg left, please read my text because he obviously dropped the ball concerning Hillary's emails. Oh, let's see. Who cares about Hillary? Besides, WikiLeaks has all of her emails, and Trump campaign worked with WikiLeaks per the Mueller report. Shane, debt won't be solved until a balanced budget. The tax scam. Cut is adding trillions. The tax cut, I guess, is adding trillions. So.
Well, I disagree. I ran the numbers on Social Security, and if you follow the blueprint of Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, they take in $400 million a week in cash. So 10% of the receipts going in to buy cash-only dividend-paying stocks will make the Social Security flush in 5 years and save it. And if you bump it to 10% after that, in 10 years, you'll be able to start paying down hundreds of billions of dollars on the debt from the receipts of the cash coming in from cash-paying dividends.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Yep.
Solves the problem.
Well, Bush had the answer way back when, and nobody would listen, so...
Yeah, but he didn't explain it the way I do.
Well, that's true. He didn't. Well, that's the thing, Oh, well, let's see. What else we got here? Trump hasn't asked for forgiveness yet. He goes to a prayer breakfast. Hypocrite. How do you know he hasn't asked for forgiveness?
Every time you pray, you ask for forgiveness.
I was going to say, I don't know. Why did you pass a tax cut that added $2 trillion more debt and gave me $10 a week for my paycheck and let Trump sign an executive order that took hundreds of dollars from my paycheck and increased health insurance costs? Well, let me try to explain that to you in layman's terms. One is the tax cut has... the biggest thing about the tax cut is not your $10 in your paycheck. It's the decrease for corporate income tax. That's right. Where the difference lies, my friend. And although you're getting 10% or $10 in your check, and you may be paying more for health insurance, that is not due to the Trump tax cuts. That's due to just the nature of the insurance industry and the number of people getting sick and Obamacare and all of the other things that are tied in with health care. So,
well, the other problem I have with someone making a statement like that, you have to remember, this was a bipartisan law that was passed. The Democrats held the House.
Right.
They approved the tax deal. they couldn't have gone to the Senate, and it wouldn't exist without the Democrats. So, this is another misnomer that people fail to recognize, that, Trump has negotiated with the Democrats in good faith to do a lot of, to create a lot of laws that have benefited the country. Now, if you go to the Labor Department website and you go to the Treasury Department website, you'll see a family of 4 with 2 kids have had a $10,000 benefit. And it's real, it's there, it's documented. So, yeah, it's there you go.
Exactly right. So, let's see. Can't reduce debt till you plug the leak, which is those tax cuts that you're hemorrhaging our budget. Oh, and the spending is record highs. Well, I will agree with you. The spending is record highs, but I'm assuming then that you don't want the $10 in your paycheck, that you want higher taxes, and what do you want, 20, 30, 50 taken out of your pay that you don't get to do whatever you want to do with it?
Yeah, but there's a non-infrastructure benefit to it, because a lot of that money, including the money for the military, has, basically employed Americans. I mean, everything the military's bought been made by the, American people. So that's a point. That right there's a $1.4 trillion infrastructure benefit. Yeah. And these are the reasons why the Demolition Party doesn't want to talk about these numbers and things, because they're so hard pressed at giving them a win on anything. Oh my goodness, how can we do that? Everyone talks, even the Democrats, we want our president to succeed. Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. I love that.
Well, recording a previous call, previous one that we had, a previous call. I think Daniel is an odd, primitive individual. Please read the text, because I'm using his own words to describe him. So I don't know. So
well,
there you are. All right. So that cleans up that. So let's move on to local news.
Yeah.
And marijuana raises its ugly head again. 2 groups, New Approach Montana and Montana Can, have submitted competing ballot initiatives to the state in the hope of getting on the ballot in November. If one or both of the groups receive state approval, they will have until June 19th to collect the signatures needed to get on the ballot. And this isn't the first time Montana is considering recreational marijuana. Most recently, Montanans for Sensible Drug Policy, which is obviously an oxymoron, which has registered with the Commission of Political Practices for the upcoming election, put forth a recreation. What are you doing? You're making noise.
Oh, sorry. Taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Well, you're rattling your papers. You're clicking all over. I'm trying to talk here. So anyway, if they get the required signatures, University of Montana poll suggests recreational Montana could become legal. Majority of respondents, 51%, to a March online survey of 239 registered voters, said they supported recreational marijuana, while 30% said they oppose it and 12% were undecided. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm personally not in favor of having any more addictive substances or any more impairments in our lives legalized.
Well, all I can tell you is government regulated, legalized marijuana in this country has failed. Mm-hmm. They can't even properly implement it. And the result is that, black market marijuana is still selling and for less than government marijuana. And people say it's better. So what can I tell you?
Well, that's why I say you're not going to, if you legalize it, you're not going to get rid of organized crime. They're just going to come in with something better. And they've got fewer expenses, by a long shot. They don't have a storefront. They don't have fixtures. They don't have employees. They don't have insurance. They don't have licenses. They don't have taxes. And, all they need is baggies and ammo to protect their business. And they're ready to go. And as I say, they'll give you a better product for the same price you can get it at the store. So,
And it's a major part of the black market or underground economy that no one wants to talk about.
Yeah.
Like in your country, it's it's $2 trillion.
Yeah.
So because it's cash. Hey, baby.
Well, and hey, if you like my marijuana, you'll love my ecstasy. You'll love my heroin. You'll love my my fentanyl. You'll love everything I got here. I mean, I'm a candy store of goodies for you. And particularly in Montana with our reduced population, I don't know. It's not good, I don't think. So just my opinion anyway.
The only marginal answer to it, I think, if you're going to go there, is your doctor needs to issue a prescription. Then you know what's going on and what you're using, and your doctor's involved, and then it's a lot safer as far as oversight. There's got to be some individual oversight if you're going to do drugs, right? We do on everything else, every other drug you take. So.
Well, pot is not addictive, according to our text line. How would you feel if we took away your coffee? Well, I wouldn't be as alert in the morning, but you're not in the know, Tom. Well, I've been around drugs forever. They started in Vietnam or during the 60s, and I think I've been around enough to see the damage. Seriously, Tom, you really don't remember Gianforte saying he would forward the information about Hillary's emails? Well, maybe he did. Shane provided the last time he was on. Ask Shane if he remembers. If not, take 2 Prevagen and call me in the morning. Okay. Prevagen, I guess I should say. All right, I will do that. Yeah, I remember you mentioned it to him before. I think.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So, I mean, Durham that's investigating this whole thing, in Connecticut should know about it because, CSIS will probably give it up to them, and they'll be able to get all that information if they want it.
Yeah. Trump himself said, I've asked God for forgiveness. It's on YouTube, I guess. Yes, I want $10 less in my taxes so my kids don't get stuck with $2 trillion. Well, as I've said many times, my parents stuck me with a lot of debt too. So can we pay our bills instead of borrow to run the government? Well, yeah, we could if we got rid of the 126 poverty programs, or at least some of them.
That's right.
So it means that $10 a week more in taxes, so be it. Better pay your bills than more dog parks. Well,
so here we go. Get to repeat it. 23 trillion in debt, 6 trillion held by other countries. China has less of your sovereign debt than Japan. So 17 trillion is held inside your country by Americans and corporations.
That we owe ourselves.
And
thank you very much. China is buying our debt. They're paying
They are indeed,
off.
Baby.
So thank you very much for buying our debt.
But they don't finance your government. So all these demolition Democrats that keep saying, oh, we got to go borrow money from China. That's just
that they do not.
Misleading, yeah.
All right, I'm way behind some commercials in here.
Okay.
whatever they're called.
Well, that's a great day. This is a great week, so I'm ready to go.
All right, hang on. We'll be right back with more right after this. 7 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Monday, February 3rd, 2020, 20 degrees outside. And Shane, we've got to talk about February because it is, like Tuesday, a totally useless month. It's an entire month of Monday mornings.
Yeah, but not this month, because this month's a leap year, so Donald Trump gets an extra day in the White House, so that's a good thing.
Well, maybe, but let me ask you this. February has 5 weekends. 5, Shane. 5 weekends of freezing, butt-numbing cold, slick streets, dark skies, early sunsets, and how many weekends does July have? 4. 4 weekends in July. If they would add 1 day to July, you'd have 5 weeks of a float on the river, of walking the dog, of hiking, of fishing, of sunbathing, of walking around downtown, or whatever it is. Why add another day to February? There's no reasonable explanation for it. Not one.
Well, I'm sure his phone caller is ready to tell you why.
You think so? I don't know. All right, let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the Morning Soapbox. What's up?
Good morning, AW here.
Hey, W, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I feel so woke.
Okay, well, good. That's our job.
Well, no, it's because of the Super Bowl commercials.
Oh, okay.
I'm particularly woke. I mean, okay. We got political ads, which I've never seen in a Super Bowl before.
Yeah.
We had Bloomberg and Trump.
Yep.
Both throwing down whatever they're throwing down. And then it was Spectrum TV promoting gay lifestyles. They had Ellen and her wife on there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting woke." And then there was the police brutality commercials. I think that was a little throw in there for the Kaepernick crowd. Police are bad, and I've never been so woke ever.
Well, as a Canadian, I can tell you that we usurp your commercials, so we just got a load of Canadian ads.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you missed out.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I thought Canada was super woke.
Yeah.
Well, with the prime minister we have, he certainly is. And we re-elected him. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know.
I felt like my daughter. She wasn't watching the game or anything. I was watching it myself, but I wouldn't want my child to actually watch the commercials that I saw on the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, I was amazed to see they showed one thing at the beginning. Like 50 years ago, a ticket was $78, and today it's like $5,500. And they said like a commercial 50 years ago was like $15,000 a minute, and today it's like, I don't know, 15 million or whatever it was. It's like, it's big business, baby.
Social justice media. I couldn't believe my eyeballs. I don't know, and that's why I actually don't watch professional sports anymore. The whole Kaepernick thing did it for me. Like, I could not watch. And, between football and LeBron James, and, it's so strange to me that, like, when I was a kid, when a Super Bowl team won or a baseball team won the World Series, they go to the White House, and this whole day and age now where they go, "Nah, I don't like the president. We're not going." It's just bizarre to me. We're in this weird, hyper, critical time now with these sports people. They're trying to wake us all up. To like, we hate the president. I mean, as a kid, I never saw a professional athlete speak ill of a president. I really don't remember it.
Yeah, no, I same here. It was always an honor to go to the White House. Now you kind of pick and choose who goes and who doesn't and whatever. I was happy to see the LSU football team show up in mass, and at least you may not like the guy, but you got to respect the office.
Well, let us not forget that the last 2 years of Obama's administration, he closed the White House. Yeah. It wasn't even open to the public.
Yeah, so.
I don't remember that, but I just wanted to say that I feel very woke today.
All right.
Between all the issues on the Super Bowl commercials, I think that I can go places and not be called a bigot or a racist or a homophobe.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy about that.
Well, good. I'm glad. That's our job, is to make things calm for you and collective.
Yeah, I didn't know how I was supposed to feel about things until I saw those Super Bowl commercials.
Well, I know. That's the nice thing about TV and social media and everything. We don't have to think anymore. We're told how to think, and that makes a wonderful situation, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and Kaepernick is still unemployed.
That's right. Yeah, as long Yeah. See that?
That's all I got.
That's
Thanks,
a good
guys.
thing. All right. Thanks for the call. All right. Well, we're up against the clock here, Shane. So we're going to have to reserve some of the local stuff till after the top of the hour. So we'll be back. So we need a GoFundMe to buy Shane a quiet keyboard. Well, it's not his keyboard, it's his headphones. I've decided that whenever he moves his head or adjusts his, it comes through the phone line. So,
Sorry.
so whenever you move your head, it clicks. But we're working on that. We're going to get Shane his own mic, and we hope the sound in the future will be better. So we're going to... we're getting ready to send him all the equipment he needs to sound like he's right here in the studio with me.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I know. It will be. All right. Till that happens, though, we've got to take a break, and we'll be back with local news and the 5 things you need to know right after this. Welcome back, everyone. It is 5 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, Monday, February 3rd, 2020. A totally useless month, an entire month of Monday mornings. That's what February is. 29 days this month, 5 weekends, but only 4 weekends in July. If they would add a day to July, you'd have 5 July weekends, which would be a lot more fun than 5 weekends in February. So, put that.
This has to be mentioned because it's very clear now. The drop in the market in the last week had nothing to do with the situation in China with that virus. It had to do with the Senate impeachment. Now, with that vote on Thursday not allowing more witnesses and the fact that he'll be acquitted probably on Wednesday, the Nike exchange down 1%, the CS 300 of China down 7%, and Shanghai was down 7%. And the Shanghai 50 down 209%. But the rest of the world, all green, baby. Everyone's going, wow, he's going to be president for another 5 years. This is great.
We're up 309 points this morning.
Right. 315 now to 28,572. Standard & Poor's 500 up 35 to 3261. NASDAQ 100 up 136 to 9127. The FTSE is up in England with Brexit 68. The DAX is up 77. The French CAC is up 43. And even the Italian market is up 131 points. So Brexit and Trump around for a while. Good for the world, baby. Gold is down. It's gotten a slash, down 12. Silver marginally down at 1770. Gold's at 1575. But, the interesting thing is oil is still dropping. It's down 51 West Texas, and Brent is 55.76. But your bond, your 10-year bond is up 0.03, so people are selling a little bit of debt, and the 30-year bond's up to 2.03, up 0.02. And currencies there around the world, but they're holding. The euro's 110, British pound's 130 after Brexit, baby. And the only weak currency in the world is the yuan in China. Everyone else is doing very well.
Everyone else doing well, yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, I concur, a big kuna. After the last round of Super Bowl commercials, I feel a wonderful new sense of entitlement that I'm not sure I really wanted or needed. Is it just me? Is it just me, or did these latest Super Bowl commercials suck? They were not really as funny nor clever as the ones in the past. We need some laughs and more ability to not take things so damn seriously. And that's from Steve-O. So there you are. I know a few marijuana drug lords in the States. That's not recreational. Usually bad people. I would agree. In the age of Trump, a Republican in Montana says we should shoot Americans who support socialism. Yeah, there was an AP report about that. GOP member of the legislature over in Billings said socialists should either be jailed or shot.
Wow.
And stands by that story. The GOP, of course, rejects that proposal, as do we here. We can't have our listeners shooting each other or putting each other in jail. That's not going to work for our ratings. So, yeah, we'd appreciate it if you didn't do any of that. So, I'm supposed to get you a USB standalone mic. Well, I'm going to get you a mic and a mixer.
Wow.
So you'll be able to sound a little better. Republicans are afraid to vote against Trump. Did you see what they did to Romney for the sin of voting for witnesses at the trial? Told him he's not welcome at CPAC.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a recall.
Well, I don't know about that. That's pretty tough to do.
It is, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Horrible commercials and even worse halftime show. Me Too should be screaming their heads off. The Me Too group. Let's see.
Posters to consider downtown parking zones. Wow, we have those in a part of the city called the West End,
okay.
And there's no parking lots. It's an old part of the city, and just small 4 or 5 story apartment buildings, and you can only park on the street, so you have to buy a permit, and you can't park there without it. It doesn't work well because there's no place to park, and
Well, we've had parking districts around the university where the residents aren't able to park on the street, so you've got to buy a parking permit, to put on your rearview mirror or whatever, and so they're talking about doing this around downtown, so you'll have to buy some kind of a parking permit to park in your own front of your house, I guess.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah. And so I don't know how the folks are gonna take that, as to whether they're gonna like that or not. But parking's always an issue downtown. We need another probably 2 or 3 more parking garages, I guess. If you
have a groundwater problem, remember they keep telling us that.
That's true. Yeah, we have a real problem there. So maybe we could talk with Jeff Krause. Will return tomorrow. We'll have to talk to him about the downtown parking district, and I'm still trying to figure out when I'm going to go before the city commission and ask them publicly to come in. Particularly since one of their goals is to communicate more with the public. So I think we'll have a good shot at maybe getting somebody in here from the city manager, or the mayor may want to come in,
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be cool for the mayor to come in, yeah.
Mayor on mayor, I like
mayor
that.
Mayor on mayor, yeah. From our text line, your parents stuck you with debt for the highways. This debt is to pay the light bill. Our kids aren't getting anything tangible for it. You fix the roof when the sun shines. I know this sounds harsh, but we should raise taxes and pay down debt when the economy is booming and poverty programs are a tiny part of the federal budget. The military and Social Security are the biggest. Well, I don't know why we need to pay down the debt, but I don't know,
Yeah, well, we've talked about this. I mean, the value of the debt in municipalities is 30 years, and inflation will eat up 30 to 40% of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so that's what I say. Every government, I don't care who's in charge, whether it's Trump or Mayor Pete or anybody else, we're going to borrow. No way around it, and particularly, particularly if the Democrats get in office, we're going to borrow. We're going to borrow a lot, and you're going to lose your corporate tax cuts, so that's going to cut jobs and all of that. So all that stuff will be rescinded, So let's see. Temporary debt creating tax cuts makes sense to boost an economy in a recession. That's not what this president did. He took away the tool, tax cuts, so the next recession won't have a tax cut tool in the box. The next recession will be a doozy and won't be able to give tax cuts to boost it. Why not?
Well, exactly.
I'm going to say, why not? So, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, in part, we're still recovering from the 2009 because the Federal Reserve still owns a massive amount of debt from that little debacle that we had back then. So, they're slowly divesting that and getting rid of it. But, so at any rate, let's see. Republicans invited a communist, but Romney is not welcome. All right. Well, let's get the communist in there. Why not? Romney is a rhino. All right. Well, tell us something we don't know. Your station promotes anti-suicide, but today you make February suicide time. Really? I don't make it suicide time. I just said it's a month that sucks. I don't think my kids needed to see J-Lo's bare backside. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I didn't watch the stupid halftime show. In the age of Trump, a Republican in Montana said we should shoot socialists. So, yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Let's see. Doctors, lawyers, smoking pot. Remember Bob Marley. Bernie is a hippie, and he won't make the pot, or he won't take the pot from his voters.
Has anybody asked him if he smoked pot? Do you know?
I don't know. I know.
I don't think anyone's asked him.
Street pot is not regulated. There's a million things in street pot that should not be in it. Cat hair, dust, mold, mite. Need I say more? I say go recreational and regulate it. Millions and millions of dollars that we're missing out on our state by letting Joe on the corner sell his dark pot. Park at the fairgrounds and walk. He can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. If he can't park more cars downtown, already 5 and 6 storage going up everywhere, blocking the sunshine and mountain views from the neighboring houses. So, yeah.
Well, we know this story because we've heard about it for 40 years. The power companies know which houses are growing it because of the usage of electricity, right?
I know, yeah.
So it's not like it's hard for them to find grow-ups.
Yeah. Republicans cannot even vote for witnesses in a trial when 79% of Americans want witnesses. Shane thinks that sin deserves for him to be recalled. Say goodbye to our republic. We are now a monarchy. Do not cross the Orange King. The cult will go after you. Well, you gonna tell me the cult didn't go after you if you do anything against Democrats? What are you talking about? Holy mackerel!
I mean, one of the greatest things your president's done is educated the American people about how your country and republic works. Yeah. So he's gotten people more involved in politics than in 50, 60 years. So it's a remarkable thing because a lot of people didn't take social studies and learn about the 3 parts of your government.
That's true.
Learn about regulations or taxes or, all these things. So it's sort of like foreign aid, right? So
yeah. Debt GOP is going up at a faster rate than ever in history. Well, I would venture World War II is probably where you want to go if you want to know the record. 120% of GDP, and we didn't pay it off. We didn't do anything like paying it off. We outgrew it.
And inflation.
And that's what we always do. We outgrow it because capitalism works. And I don't know, if you think everything is going to stay the same, which you assume we're going to have another recession, and we probably will. There's going to be a correction somewhere down the line, but it doesn't have anything to do with Trump or government. It has to do with business. Business either works or it doesn't, or it gets fearful or whatever. So,
yeah. Well, correct me if my memory is wrong, but when he took the oath of office, wasn't your debt at like 21.9 trillion?
Something like
just
that.
under 22 trillion. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's gone up $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Compared to what's gone on the last 10 years, that's cheap, baby.
I was going to say that's pretty good. Well, if you remember, Obama's shovel-ready projects were $900 billion. I mean, that's almost $1 trillion there that had to be borrowed for the shovel-ready projects that weren't actually shovel-ready at the time, and the money's still sitting around.
That's right. And as we learned, he never spent it and shoveled it into all the his departments, right, in his cabinet.
He's put it in all the social programs, yeah.
Yeah.
So no wonder we were stagnant for 8 years under Obama.
Well, the thing was, it was for infrastructure. Why didn't they impeach him for that? Because he didn't spend it on infrastructure.
Well, that's.
I mean, I'm just saying,
Sounds like a misdemeanor to me. I got to take a break. Shane and I both have to take a break. We'll be right back right after this. Stay tuned. 22 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Monday, February 3rd, 2020. 20 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of who knows what today. I have no clue what we're looking for today. Shane, do you? You remember what we're looking for? I have no.
Buddy, just winter weather.
I have no idea what we're looking for.
We're in deep winter now.
Yeah. You can only outgrow the debt if you stop adding faster than GOP. Who cares? We'll be dead. Our kids will figure it out. Well, I'm figuring it out, and it ain't a problem. So, fine. I don't understand the fear of this. If this was a big deal, the Democrats would be all over it. They would be screaming to the ceiling about Trump raising the debt. Oh my God. I haven't heard anything about the debt in any of the debates yet.
No, and that's because a bipartisan law was passed last year by the Democrats and Trump to extend the debt with an unlimited ceiling till 2024. So how can they say anything?
Well, yeah. I mean, come on. What are they going to do? Are they going to say, hey, I promise to stop borrowing. I promise to cut the government expense. I promise to pay down the debt. Has anybody been saying that? No, I'm going to give you health care for $20 trillion. I'm going to do this for another $10 trillion. I'm going to do this for another $10 trillion, and I'm going to borrow the money to do it with. Thank you very much, and vote for me because, well, a vote for me means a lot of money spent on my special program to benefit you.
And the interesting thing about that law they passed, was the Demolition Party, like 2 weeks later, launched the Green New Deal. Because now they know, the debt is limitless, and let's launch our Green New Deal because we'll be able to spend all the money we want without any problem.
Yeah. Let's see. My family and I have always voted Democrat in the past, but after listening to you, many of my stereotypes are changing. I actually now see overall Democrats lie more than conservatives, even though both sides have problems with being truthful. If you were to sum up Trump's campaign promises to Trump haters, what major accomplishments would you highlight? Thank you. Well, there are several that we can highlight. One is certainly the tax cuts, because we made America more competitive throughout the world. That's the biggest accomplishment.
And largest producer of oil and gas in the world.
Yeah, we became oil independent. He did the Keystone Pipeline, which courts are still trying to stop. But perhaps with the new judges that he's supporting and put in office, that will make a difference. That's probably the biggest thing. Two Supreme Court justices that he
trade deals that everybody said would never be done.
Yeah, and almost 200 federal judges have been put on the bench.
192 and counting. Yeah, 194 counting the two Supreme. So he's 6 away from 200. Yeah.
Yeah, those would be some of the biggest things. The opportunity zones in
that's the biggest one.
That's the biggest one of all. Probably in our inner cities and places like that, to increase businesses in places where it's been somewhat destitute or whatever. And also the next step, the prison reform, is another big one that he's done. And so, a lot there. We'll do some more, but let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? What's going on?
So tomorrow I meet with my tax guy, and he did my taxes last year. Mm-hmm. And I got a refund last year. I mean, I overpaid, So, I got a refund. You try to make it as minimal as possible.
Yeah.
But before last year, this Obama guy, I didn't ever get money back. Actually, he didn't take my money hostage. He just stole my frickin' refund because of his Obamacare crapola. So I get to look forward tomorrow, and I don't know what I'm going to owe or what I'm going to get. I think I'm going to get another return and from the state and from Fed.
Yeah.
But you know what? At least I'm getting some of that money back, and it's not being stolen from me from previous.
May we ask you what you got back last year?
Last year it was a small amount. It was 800 from Fed and 300 from Montana State, and so yeah, that's $1,100. It's still $1,100.
It's $100 a month. That's a difference, right?
Well, yeah, it's $25 a week or whatever you want to figure it out to. But yeah, it's the principle that my money is getting returned back to me. And, I usually claim 3 dependents instead of just doing the overall, like a lot of people do. So I expect to put less into it per week. And this is my way of doing it.
And you should demand your congressmen and senators to pass a bill that says any refund that you get should be paid interest because, why should they get
I got to feed the one I got to feed that one big fat turd. What's his name? Tester? the boat molester is what I like to call him. Yeah. Now the other people, they're a little more workable, but yeah. So anyways, I gotta pay for his fat belly, and yeah, I'll just let it go at that. But you guys have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Thanks much.
So Tom, I have a question for you because it's 100 years NFL and Super Bowl, and so the XFL is a new professional league that may launch over the next 2 years. But the Alliance of American Football has been unveiled by Vince Mahone. He owns the GG whatever F or Anyway, so the XFL, the Alliance of American Football, is launched on February 9th, and the TV partner is CBS Sports, 9 teams, and it's supposed to go live, I think, this month or next. So what do you think? Will they survive?
I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, one way or the other. One other thing that Trump has done, he signed a bill to preserve native languages, Native American languages here in the United States. All right, Shane, we got a caller calling in. If you could chat with them, I'll be right after this. 25 minutes before the top of the hour. It's a Monday, February 3rd, 2020, 20 degrees outside. We've got a caller that Shane has deemed worthy of airtime. So we will see if that's accurate. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Good deal. Glad to hear that. So I'm calling. I just had a generalized comment. Just for people in general, whether they lean left, right, or somewhere in the middle, it doesn't matter to me. People are people, and I'm a veteran, and I swore an oath to defend this country and its Constitution and all the people in it, not women, everybody. And I see our politicians, they take a very similar oath, except the difference is they don't take it seriously. They use it to make themselves more important and build personal wealth and create personal power. And it's really disgusting because they take things like, in my lifetime, I'm in my late 40s, in my lifetime, we've seen affirmative action, we've seen this and that and the other. And it's really all, in my opinion, designed to keep you and I and everyone else at each other's throats so we don't turn around and see the politicians putting a knife in our back. And I just really would pray that people would take a second. And if you don't pray, that's fine. Just contemplate. Take a second and think about the things the politicians are saying to you. Think about the trigger buttons and the sound bites and the clips. And think about why they're saying it. They don't want you looking at them. That's why they're saying it. If we all just stop for just one damn minute and just look at them, we would throw up, we would be angry, and we would definitely replace the politicians. Who are they to give themselves raises? They don't earn them. I can't give myself a raise. They exempted themselves from Obamacare. come on, they voted for it. It's not good enough for them, but if you have to suffer it. This is the kind of crap that I'm tired of. And as a veteran who swore that oath, and even though I'm done serving, I'm still keep myself to that oath. And I served in other ways when I got done. And I'm just tired of these politicians thinking they can do and say whatever they want about me and you, and there's no repercussions. They say, oh, just vote them out. Well, people like Nancy Pelosi are going to be in there. They're like a tick on a blue hound's ass. They're going nowhere. Yeah. And just like a tick, she's just a blood-sucking vampire. And I'm just, and there's some on the Republican side, too, like Mitt Romney. Don't get me wrong. That guy's a moron. I mean, he's smart, but he's a moron. I don't know. That's my thought for the day, and I would just hope people would take a look at what their politicians are doing, and don't believe the lies.
Well, that's what we're trying to do here, as you obviously know, as a listener, I think, and as a fellow veteran. Thanks for your service, obviously. But
you too, sir.
yeah, but I think you're right that we, social media and all these other things tell us what to think, how to think, and it's easier to do that than it is to do any kind of research and find out for ourselves or listen for ourselves. And, that I think is our problem right now, that we probably have the most uninformed voter of any time in history.
I agree with you, sir. I agree. It's a sad state. And it all depends on, do you watch Fox News or do you watch something else?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you get your news from Politico, or do you get it from Drudge, or wherever you get it from?
Yeah.
And yes, I agree. If you're interested in something, please do the research.
Mm-hmm.
These are public documents, their laws, their bills, their suggestions. Please go look at their voting records. Don't listen to them. Don't believe them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like John Tester with the whole Veterans Choice thing. I think on paper, just like communism, it looks phenomenal. Oh, it's fair and equitable, and everybody's going to be taken care of. I personally got put into collections because after I obtained their written permission to go see a specialist, they didn't pay it for up to 8 months, and I had to wind up taking care of it, and I'm still waiting to be reimbursed.
Yeah.
But John Tester, three-fingered liar. I'm just saying, the thought is great. I'm glad they even look at it. But just go look at their voting record. Talk to people who are, even if it's online. Go online and look at chat rooms. There's a billion of them. Veterans chat rooms, or, this chat room or that, and go look at what the actual end users are saying about these programs. And just please educate yourselves and stop being mad at me, and I'm going to stop being mad at you, and let's look at them. Because, I hate to say it, it's true, but Glenn Beck is crazy, but he had it right when he said we surround them. Yeah. That initiative got shut down because he was absolutely right.
Well, as Pogo said years ago, we have met the enemy, and he is us.
Yes.
There you are.
The mayor hasn't answered.
Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for your service. All right.
Take care, gentlemen.
All right, take care.
You're not just a voice. You got it all, baby.
We've got another caller waiting on the line, Shay. I got to take a brief break here. We'll be right back right after this. 18 minutes before the top of the hour, we got a caller patiently waiting on the line. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Tom, in ancient Rome, politicians, actors, and prostitutes were all on the same social level.
Okay.
At the bottom of the rung. The last caller needs to remember that politics is a game of lying. It's a lying contest with blackmail thrown in. The debt will inflate its way away. In 20 years, it'll cost $20 trillion to buy a Super Bowl ticket.
Well, then why not? No problem there.
Why not?
I mean, well, you'll be making 10 trillion.
That's it, man.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. See, a $20 trillion debt is no problem if you got a $40 trillion income. Thanks for the call. Let's take another call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on. What's up?
How's it going, Tom? It's Mike.
Good, Mike. How are you?
Not too bad. So I'd just like to respond to that. I think it was 2 callers ago, saying how politicians are just basically a bunch of liars and cheats.
Mm-hmm.
So when that started, I mean, it's been going on forever, but when it got put on steroids, was in 76 with the Bilotti decision, and 78 with the First National Bank decision, and then later on in 2000s with the Citizens United decision. Now these politicians are beholden to the almighty dollar, and all those decisions said billionaires can just own them. And so that's who owns them, and that's whose decisions they're making, or who's, and until we repeal those 3 Supreme Court decisions, I don't see it ever changing.
Well,
so
actually,
I don't.
I think it was 82 or 83. The Congress passed a law saying that members of Congress could write books and collect the revenue from those books without affecting their income in Congress. So the way it worked was they'd write a book, and nobody bought it. Some supporter would go out and buy 100,000 copies or 1,000,000 copies and make them rich overnight, like Bernie. Bernie's written 5 books. Like that. Yeah. So it's not just.
Well, I don't think writing. I don't think that writing. I don't think our problem is that they're writing books. I mean, they're owned. That's all there is to it. They're owned by a corporation, and they get their marching orders from them, and they don't get them from us.
Well, I think to a certain extent you're absolutely right, because I think you only need to see that in, the unions give overwhelmingly to Democrats, so Democrats always vote for union-backed bills. And, you don't have to go much further than that. And, the military
they make something in every district.
Sure.
Complex. Yeah. Every single district.
Yeah, I need money in my I need money in my district. I'm going to build a transportation museum, so I need X dollars from somebody. So, yeah.
That was Dershowitz's argument last Thursday or Friday, right? Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
That a politician. He will do what he thinks he has to do to get reelected. If he can create benefits for his constituents to get reelected, he'll do that. That's a quid pro quo. It is. So
yeah, we're no longer a citizen government any longer. No. We're a professional government. You go there to stay
fascism. There. It's not even funny.
Well, yeah, you go there to stay there. You don't go there to serve your fellow man and then go home to your job. It's much easier to sit for 109 days a year in that big, comfortable armchair and, and collect a big paycheck. So.
Well, and I mean, some proof to this is the Dean Scream. 2 days before the Dean Scream, Howard Dean was in an interview and said he would break up the big media companies. Yep. So what they do? They created the Dean Scream 2 days later.
Yep, that was it.
He was done. Turn down the volume of the crowd, turn up his scream, make it sound crazy, and then report about it for days and bring him down.
Dean isn't on TV anymore because of what you remember during the election, the comment about President Trump sniffling. And he actually on TV accused him of being a coke addict. Remember that?
I don't remember that, actually.
Yeah, he did. Remember Tom? Remember that?
Yeah, I said he was probably high during that speech.
Yeah, right.
He hasn't been on television since.
That's how it works, man. Hey, Mike, thanks a lot.
Yep, thanks, guys. Bye.
Right, take care. All right, boy. Well, in other news, MSU, all the colleges are looking at sports betting. We finally got sports betting legal here, and now the colleges are wondering, gee, should we capitalize on this or not? Should we?
Well, I think they have to, because now they got to pay or allow. They don't have to pay, but that'll come next. But they got to allow college players to go out and make money, and brand their name. And get marketing support contracts, and they should. So now the next when people start looking at what are those huge amounts of money that these colleges hold, right?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Do we have another call? Nope, we don't have another call at the moment. Whoops, we got a call coming in though at the moment. Hey, let's talk some more callers. After all, hey, we're a big family here, right?
100%.
It's just a big Thanksgiving dinner table.
Marvelous Monday.
That's it. Let's go to the phones. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi, this is Jason.
Hey, Jason.
I was just fortunate enough to take a trip to Puerto Rico on a cruise, and we spent spent the day fishing there.
Yeah.
And I was wondering about the hurricane stuff with what was being reported and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so this first guy I asked was a taxi driver. I said, and he was showing me how high the water was, and it was really devastating. Just really devastating over there. And I asked him, you know, and I thought he'd answer faith-based groups because typically they're quick to respond to those kind of things. But I asked the guy, so who helped you the most? And without hesitation, he goes, Trump. Trump did. Don't even listen to the media. Trump and FEMA helped incredibly. The minute the storm was over, they were landing on the airport and had stuff out on the boats. I was really surprised to hear that from them.
Yeah.
At the time, and then so then I went on a fishing trip, and I thought the same thing. You know, I was like, "Oh, is this really true?" I'm going to ask this again. And I asked again, and immediately the guy went off on his government. He wanted to kill him for about 30 minutes. He said, those guys are so crooked. He said the president's wife took $100 million from FEMA. $100 million and put it in her pocket.
Wow.
And I think if you would have had a chance in the room, you probably would have killed her. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
But then he said FEMA helped a lot, and Trump.
Yeah.
They were the two that really helped. And so then I asked him, and I knew this was a couple months ago. I said, I know Trump is holding money back from Puerto Rico, not giving it more aid because, and he said, he shouldn't give us any money. I was amazed when he told me that.
Yeah.
He goes, the government will just take it.
Yeah.
They're so corrupt.
Yeah, I think we've proved that. You know, the one guy had, they had all the food and everything stored in some warehouse and never got to the people, and there was so much corruption from the mayor and I don't know, a couple other officials there. I agree with you.
Yeah, that was about a month after I talked to that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that all started to come out. Yeah.
But both people I talked to down in Puerto Rico really, really liked Trump.
Well, good. Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks for the info. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Take care. All right. We got to get the Rush update in here, Shane. So we'll be right back after Rush and some other news. So stay tuned. Here's Rush. 4 minutes before the top of the hour, Shane. Been quite a Monday as usual. Lots of calls, lots of input from everybody. Thanks to everybody for listening to us. From our app chat line, the liberal media machine is working to the person that talked about the Senate not voting for witnesses. All the recorded testimony from the House was played during the trial in the Senate.
That's right.
So there you go. I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Trump stole from the veterans. Yeah. Fake university. Yeah. Laughing at everybody. Yeah. So, let's see. In the time we got left, I was going to do, what was I going to do? I was going to do the folks or the things that Trump had done. Successes, I guess I should say, for the caller that called in. And let's see. Besides the Supreme Court justices and the tax reform, vowed an unprecedented regulatory pullback with a strict policy to eliminate 2 existing regulations for every new one, and that turned out to be like 8-1, where we got rid of 8 regulations. In his first year, he achieved $8.1 billion in lifetime regulatory savings and is on track to receive an additional $9.8 billion this year. Let's see what else we got. The opportunity zones, we mentioned that. Revitalized cities and towns. Got out of the Obama's Clean Power Plan. Got out of the Paris Climate Accord, which no company or no country met their goals in the Paris.
Except the U.S.
Well, yeah, that was the only one. Yeah. Approved the Keystone Pipeline and National Dakota Pipeline, got out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, renegotiated NAFTA and deals with Mexico and South Korea, China, and forced China to come to the table with tariffs, pledged historic increases in defense spending, did that. Manufacturing jobs growing at the fastest pace in more than 2 decades. Right to try legislation to give dying Americans access to experimental treatments. Pledged to take on the opioid epidemic and signed a bill for that. The only place he's failed is building the wall or repealing Obamacare, and it's not been for lack of trying. Only in a few rare instances has he backtracked on a campaign pledge, such as when he admitted that he was wrong to promise a complete withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan and reverse course. So that's where he is. So,
well, thank you, Mayor. I know it'd be a great Monday. Thank you to all the callers. Be happy, be saved, live in the moment, live to work, and God bless the people in the Gallatin Valley.
Amen.
Talk to you tomorrow, Mayor.
All right, man. See you tomorrow morning. Thanks, Shane. All right, we've got to go. And, well, hey, we got to go every day at this time. So, well, there we are. Hey, I've got some basketball tickets. I've got to give these away here. Basketball, we're playing the Idaho Vandals. This is the men's basketball. This will be Thursday night at 7 p.m. At the stadium here, or at the field house, I should say. And so if you want to see the Bobcats against the Vandals, give me a call at 522-TALK. 522-8255 is the number, and we'll be happy to fix you up with 2 tickets to the MSU men against the Idaho Vandals. That's February 6th, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Give me a call, and we'll get you some free tickets to Bobcat men's basketball. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow at 6 a.m.